Welcome back to the Next Level Show. We have the Your Friday. This is what Monday episode.
Monday.
Fuck, what day are we on right now? I'm all over the place.
Dude, I have no idea. This week we just fucking flew by, so I'm the wrong person to ask. I'm always checking my watch. I'm like, what day does it say? Oh shit, it's fucking Thursday, Friday.
Let's do this one more time. 3,
All right.
2, 1. Welcome back to the Next Level Show. This is a Monday mindset episode. This is all going to be on the recording, by the way. This is no edits. We don't really edit here.
No, not too much work. Unedited, unfiltered. Exactly. Just raw and how it's supposed to be. It's like you're in the room with us when it happens.
Yeah, it's natural. It's organic. Feels good. You can't go back to like a non-raw situation because it has to be raw then moving forward.
It just doesn't feel right.
I had a buddy that was just like he's not a great example to like model after, but his philosophy.
Is you saying this?
This is me saying this. Yeah, dude. It's yeah, dude. I love him to death though. I tell him to his face all the time. It's like this man has three kids now, and he's my age, right? And I always tell him like, dude, like they have preventatives, right? You can wear a condom, dude. If bare minimum, you can make the effort to pull out or get a vasectomy, right? So that's more of like a permanent decision, which I think at this point I don't know if he already did or he's about it. But I'm like, and I thought like, why don't you just just put a condom on, or at least bare minimum, bro. Like, I'm gonna buy you that for Christmas or something. He's like, it's just like when you move out. You move away from home and you're no longer living with your parents, you have that freedom, right? You don't want to go back to like rules and shit. I'm like, what? Yeah. That's like the most like cringy analogy I've ever heard when it came to
very much.
But I understand where he's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Even so, I'm almost 30 years old. I have 0 kids, thankfully. I mean, I do
that you know of,
that I'm aware of. That's right. And I'm not. Definitely, I'm open to having them in the future if the opportunity is right, life things are in order, or if it happens with the quote unquote right one, there's such a thing, and
Jesus,
and then we'll go for it, right? No, but either way, I would embrace fatherhood 100%, even at this point in my life. Oh, for sure. I mean, it's really hard for me to be. I can be very selfish, I know, because I have the luxury to do so. And when I say selfish is with time, decisions, I don't have to count for anything, but I know when I'm about it, man, when I'm about my family, about my loved ones, I'm all in. So, hey, who knows? When in the next couple of years, projecting wise, I would say the next 5 years, give or take, I should be.
Yeah, and we had them relatively young. Shit, how old was I? So it's 12. What am I? 39. So 26, 27 is when we had our first one. And I see there's pros and cons to having them young and having them old, right? When I was younger, I was totally cool with barely getting any sleep, 3 or 4 hours, get up, no problem, out. Good, especially if they're fine, right? The con would be like for a second one that was a little bit more challenging. Maybe I wasn't and I kind of always beat myself up over this, and anytime I see her or whatever, I feel kind of bad as to not having as much patience as I had back then as I should have had, or I would have now. And it could have been me just grown as a person, just new things that I was exposed to. But she was very challenging, so that can be a little hard for you if you're younger. Even if 26, 27 sounds like a grown ass person, you're still learning. You're still, just gathering yourself or finally getting into rhythm. So that's a plus for if you're older, that you have a lot more patience, even finances, more than likely you would be a little better off as you get older, right? So that could be another good thing, but there's no right time. There's no wrong time. Whenever you have it, you have it. But if you want to just shut it down, kind of like, damn, you're damn near 30 and you have 3. And if that was your intention, then cool. We initially wanted to have like around, I don't know, I said 2, but she wanted like a bigger family, like 4, 5 even. And then after 2, we were just like, no, we're tapping out. That's it. Done deal. shop is closed. I did get cut. I did get snipped, and it was a little kind of a crazy process. It was more nerve wracking in my mind than anything. It was a little more awkward in my head than anything because the doctor's there just doing his thing, and I'm just there like, okay. And he's talking to me. I'm just like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, yeah. And I don't know what the fuck I was saying,
Dude, what?
but it really wasn't. So it was more just again in my head. It was a pretty seamless process. Would I do it? Knowing now, I would be more relaxed going into it. And if
Yeah.
anybody wants to do so, but is hesitant on the procedures, it's totally fine, totally cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would do it too, honestly, after a certain point, just to never imagine if you don't, if let's say whatever you
yeah,
like. I was watching this show on Netflix, and the guy, like, at a very young age, got snipped, right? And because of this trauma of losing the girl, he thought he knocked up, but then she dies, and then he thought it was his fault. And then he was with this other, and they were trying to have a kid, and she didn't know that he had, right? She
yeah.
gets pregnant.
Oh shit.
Yeah, she gets pregnant with his father.
What?
So it was when she tells him, like, we're expecting, he knew that there was no way that it was his.
Oh,
And
wow.
then he called her out on it, and her face, bro, was just like, like, oh.
That was a up until that last part, which it really took a hard left turn. That was in a movie, Chef. It's with shit. What the hell's the guy's name? Do you know in the John Favreau? You know John Favreau?
Mm-mm.
He was yes, you do. You know him. He was
I'm
in
probably seeing him, yeah.
in Marvel. He's Happy. Tony's okay.
Yes.
Him.
Yes.
So he stars as this chef, and then his ex-wife is Sofia Vergara, and he goes to
That's a
her
great role
ex,
to play.
her ex, which is oh my goodness, Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, snap.
And then exactly weird. So anyway, so they both meet and they have this thing, and he says to him, and Tony, I say Tony, Robert Downey Jr. says to John, oh yeah, my assistant, my secretary, she's amazing, but she's pregnant. But there's a problem because I got snipped, so it can't be mine. So she's cheating on me. He was like, oh, should I do it? Should I not do it? It was a quick little, nice little scene. I like that movie a lot. It's really good. I would suggest it. I want to say it's on Netflix.
Talk about really, like,
All over the place.
tricking someone. No, I'm just saying,
Oh
like,
yeah, I know.
let's say if you did and you just never said anything, and then
Mm.
that's one full way proof to know.
Yeah, because it's
Of,
basic. It's damn near like a 0% chance. Now, can it be reversed? It can be reversed,
yeah, in some cases,
but it's
right?
very it. No, it's
Always
it's
can
possible.
be reversed?
No, it's possible, but it's not a guarantee. From
Mm.
my understanding,
I
the way that the
understood, like,
doctor
maybe, like,
explained it to me.
usually there's like two ways of doing it, right? If you're younger and you want to prevent it for a bit, and then you're older, that's when it's more serious, more permanent.
I think the process is the same.
Okay.
Maybe there's different types. There can either be tied or burnt or cut. I don't know. But anyways, they try to, connect those the tubes again,
Mhm.
and it's very expensive, and it's not guaranteed that it would happen. Again, from my
Okay.
understanding, not that I'm worried or thinking about that whatsoever, because it's a done deal. That's it.
Yeah.
So if anything,
Yeah.
we have two girls. We always talked like if we were to want to have like another child, maybe later on down the road, adoption would be a possibility that we would be interested in.
Mhm.
So who knows? But that's kind of like where we're at.
Gotcha. No, yeah. I mean, I totally
How the hell did we get
understand.
here?
We're talking about unprotected sex, raw editing,
There
raw
you go.
recordings, and this is what
There you go.
happens with this part. Typically, like, a normal podcast would probably edit this part out, but we are not normal, and we don't edit anything out. So here you go, guys.
Mhm.
This is a perfect way to kick off the week. I thought it was
It's
Friday in
it's
this
a balance.
episode, but
I think it's a good balance because I think I mentioned this to you. I don't know if you ever had a chance to see that movie, that show on HBO Max. What the fuck was it? Oh, the one about everything is fake. That
the
everything is fake.
Instagram, the social
Yeah.
media thing, yeah.
Yeah, I totally forgot the name. But anyways, that movie, that documentary, that show, just really you want to talk about a red pill or whatever kind of pill what it is. I feel like
Mhm.
now I can't unsee everything
I
is
love
fake
that
to
you
me.
use that analogy. Look at you,
I
man.
know.
You're
Well,
like
that's
you're
the
getting
real version of it because once you see that now everything is fake. Everything is
Yeah.
fake online. Whatever you say, that shit ain't true. More than likely, your followers, your likes, your comments, your shit, the shit that you're doing, everything is fake. I do not trust anything now. Anything I see
That,
online, probably not happen.
that's why it's hard to. I think that's why we crave the more authentic pages where you feel like you know this person. You look at the page and you're like, wow, this person, I could see myself hanging out with them. When someone's too polished and too perfect all the time, that's why I've always been
Yeah.
torn between getting like people hiring people to do photos for me to just have batch content, which was a lot of content creators would do, is batch content together and have it there. But for me, it's I try to sometimes use a camera, but it's still not ever heavily edited. Even my videos have cuts just for compressing purposes because it does
Mm-hmm.
extend the videos. But overall, that's kind of anyone that knows me knows that that's how I am. I respond the way I am. I talk the way I am, usually on a day to day. I'm a dick like when I want to be and when I'm nice when I want to be. It's like you have these I smile when I want to do it and I don't when I don't. So it's I think it's important to and that what makes this podcast posting content for me very simple, not as not much of a burnout than some people do because they're living in this, they're putting on a character. And then in some cases, I do get hyped up and I do get excited.
Yep.
Obviously, we like anything, but for the most part, kind of how we are right now is how we would talk when the button is not on for recording, right? We just kind of
Mm-hmm.
chat it up. We have weird conversations, and this is kind of the point of the podcast. And this is for anybody that maybe is tuning in for the first time. This is the first episode you're ever listening on us. But sorry, we had to start the episode like that, right? That's a good rude awakening. Like let's wake up. But yeah. Oh, real quick side note, dude, did you see that they're pulling back on OnlyFans? They're going back to
Holy shit!
the
Fucking
we
flip
talk
flop, like what the hell was that
yeah,
about?
yeah. But you know what? I had already started seeing other content creators that like I just know they post their stories. They're putting it's something called I don't know if I forget the name. Fansly. I think it's called fansly.com. But it looks exactly the same. The font it looks so identical, dude.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it's Fansly. I could be wrong. It's something with fans. And it's starting. People were already like starting to pivot, you know. But and that's like for the people that you already know that are doing that type of content. Anyways, they apparently OnlyFans just went back on it. I don't know the exact details. I didn't look too much into that this time. I was like, whatever, dude. I really don't. I don't know much enough. I don't make money off of that account. So I don't care. I could care less.
It's a pro bono account that you have then. Just everything's
It's,
free. Is that what you're
yeah,
saying?
yes. Yeah, it's just a free subscription. Go ahead and
Oh,
subscribe to my
okay.
OnlyFans at John and Gabe
Oh, holy shit.
life. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I
no.
saw that. And it's so, I mean, it's when, on one hand, I can understand why they would go back because imagine if everything that got you to make your site, your platform popular and you want to undercut it, right, is just it's weird to do so, and it's kind of almost like shooting yourself in the foot. But then again, I can understand that they wanted to do that if they were to get some investors and sponsors because they say, hey, we don't want to be associated with this, so let's just in order for your business to grow, right? But I mean, do you think it's kind of like weird for companies to do that? Like as soon as they hear negative backlash, they just cut back and switch it, or is it best to just double down? I mean, it's because it's teetering on the lines of listening to your audience and to your creators, and just not having a firm grasp as to the direction your company wants to go to.
I think it's a combination, right? I mean, just I don't know much more on the decision. What were the factors that made this decision? But it goes down to you make a mistake and you adjust. It's like if we were to maybe be at a certain level and we made a call on something and we see that,
It's not the
oh
right call.
snap, we kind of dropped the ball here a little bit. Let's backpedal and let's just change directions. We should, as a company, should be able to do that. And will there be some negatives? Of course, there's always an effect whatever, there's a
Cause
cause and
and effect.
effect to all
Hmm.
these decisions that you make. There's a reaction. You're either reactive or what is it? Reacting or fuck, I forgot the other word
Yeah.
that you could use. I lost it. Anywho, there's always going to be a counterbalance to all these things. So you have to take that for what it is. You have to accept it and then move on as a company. And out of that, things can come out better. So we'll see. I mean, this can
Yeah.
always be subject to change. Maybe they're like get to a point where they're like, you know what, we're gonna decide to either extend this or we're gonna be like, you know what, for sure, we're gonna cut this off. And sorry, content creators, go somewhere else. Go to Fansly, I think is like the other one. So um we'll see what happens in the future, because that's the thing, like Mike said it in the other episode, when you cut the head off one head of the snake, the other one pops out. It's just like, more are going to be coming out.
Yes.
So I butchered that, Mike. Sorry, I love you.
Totally. Cut off one head to take its place.
Correct. There you go. Boom. But yeah, that was pretty. This I was like, oh shit. Oh, other quick news for this. I just received this information. We pre-recorded this one 2 days in advance, but
Breaking news.
breaking news. This is important for me. Yeah, right. Ba, 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 ba. Or this is a sideways show over segue to our show. Cristiano Ronaldo, best soccer player in the world. I'm unbiased, 100% sure. No, best player in the world in my opinion, based on stats, based on how his journey is. I know Lionel Messi fans love him to death as well, but to me, based on other things, he is the best player. Interesting on his part is that he's going back to the club that made him big. And no one knew Cristiano Ronaldo until he played on Manchester United, which is a very old English club. And they held many titles. They have like, I think, the most titles still overall in the whole Premier League, which is a pretty big deal. They have a lot of history. Their stadium has a lot of history. I love it. I hate the fucking jerseys this year. Just awful choices that's going on with the soccer world. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, he's officially, but the why this is a big news is because one, he obviously is who he is. That's where he comes from. But there was a deal happening with the rival team that it's in England as well. They have Manchester United and Manchester City. So Manchester City is a newer club overall compared to Manchester United. He was about to go there. And then today, 24 hours, that thing flopped like OnlyFans to Manchester United. And like all the fans are obviously going hysterical. Welcome back, all that. So for the soccer people out there, if you like the two people out there, or one person or zero people listening to this because they cared less, but Cristiano Ronaldo, there you go. There you have it. Should we transition to our topic at hand today, Mr. Gabriel?
Please do so, because I do not know anything about that. Sorry.
Do you have any comments on Cristiano Ronaldo's transfer, by the way?
No, I have no idea. I have nothing to contribute to that.
Oh, apparently, Jake Paul and this dude fought. When we record this, the fight already happened, but apparently Jake Paul and Tyrese Woods, like a big MMA fighter, is like fighting. This guy actually looks like he can bang, bro. Like Tyrese Woods is no joke, bro. This guy is like, I would be scared to fight this guy, bro. Straight up. But let's see. Let's see if I even get glimpses or highlights. I'm not gonna pay for this nonsense, but I'll be curious to see the results.
Is it another boxing?
They're boxing. Yeah, he wouldn't do MMA. He's crazy. Anywho, topic at hand, Mindset Monday. A little bit of a combination of just standard physical fitness with the mindset aspect as well combined, because this is a Mindset Monday episode, but we're going to tie them all together nicely for you guys. This is actually a very good topic that was sent to me as an idea, and I wanted to kind of elaborate. I think it'd be to make a great episode. And this is the thing that you're going to teeter on both sides for the rest of your life. You're going to be like OnlyFans, kind of not deciding whether you're going to do this for a bit and then you're going to, I'm going to come back over here. No, it's between the differences between training and exercise. There's obviously physical components that are different. Mm-hmm. There are mental components absolutely that are different. So we're going to start first with, like, want to start with exercise or training, Gabe?
Let's go with exercise.
Cool. So we'll go with exercise first. That's what I think the grand majority of people should do at some point, at the bare minimum, move their body. a lot, obviously we know, and it's no it's no, like, no one's a stranger to this concept, but like we know that America is getting to the point where we don't have to move, man. You can literally order food, you have entertainment nonstop 24/7. You have jobs, for some people are still working from home, so you're
Yep.
barely even having to get out of your house if you don't want to. You technically don't have to leave your house almost ever. Unless you have to go to a doctor, unless you're rich enough and you have a doctor come to your house. But overall, you can basically stay in your house 90% of the time.
And
And
sometimes it's even like you could do that without even having the intention, without realizing. Like how many times have you just like, oh shit, it's like fucking 5 o'clock and I've only had like 2,000 steps or 1,000 steps. I
yep,
mean, it's happened to plenty. I mean, like it's happened to me before where I was just like, oh shit, I didn't really go outside or really didn't do anything, or I haven't been as active as I'd like to be, just because the way, to your point of those examples, the way life is just kind of like just set up. You can just be in the house and it'd be fine.
yeah, absolutely. And it gives us more time to eat more food, snack all day long, and then you're racking up calories in very small amounts of movement throughout your week. And we look at obviously averages, but you can even break it down to a day to day. We're not moving much as we used to, and obviously we're paying now the price for it. And this is affecting us in all areas.
I'm curious to know what is the now average of daily steps per day, because I want to say, what, like 3 or 4 years ago, something like that, the average step count for, I guess, in America. I'm not too sure if this was specifically to America or the world. I want to say it's to America. Was 4,000 steps a day, and that would equate to 1 hour of movement throughout the entire day. I remember that stat. It's always sticks out in my head. So I'm curious to know as to what the new average is within the past year.
I'm gonna actually look that up while you're going. American.
And I used to kind of like, and again, that goes to my point of me realizing at, middle of the day or past noon or early evening. And then I look down and I say, it's only been like, either 2,000, 1,000, even 4,000 steps. Then that I bring that step to me and I say, wow, I've only moved for an hour. I've only really been active for half an hour. And now, sure, that doesn't take everything into account, because if I'm like sitting at a chair, I'm tapping my foot, I'm just, moving around or whatever. Okay, sure, I'm moving, but steps that's why we like to speak to steps a lot, because that's something that it's a tangible piece of data that we can equate. Okay, I've only moved from here to there, and I know how much better I feel whenever I walk around as opposed to when I'm just sitting down. Anytime I get up, I was just like, oh shit, my fucking back, or just my hips, just things just don't feel that great. Like my shoulders, because what happens when you're sitting down? Like, shoulders start rolling forward, the head starts going forward a little bit more, and that just leads to not so great things. You find anything?
So yeah, so looking at it, I'm trying to find something is up to date. So I'm going based on the first one we talked about, 3 to 4,000 steps a day on an American average. Now I'm looking at one from 2019, 5,117 steps. So maybe that's more generous for more people, but I would even argue within like the lower end of 3,000. It would be a safe bet to say in a lot of places,
I'd say
depending
so.
on.
I mean, shit. Look at the past year, over a year and a half. That we were, for the good part of that year, people were told. Excuse me, sorry about that. People were told to just stay inside, and if you're told to stay inside, and you have all these things that can come to you, like you mentioned earlier, then why would you step even more, right? So
Absolutely.
now you're being told, hey, chill, sit down, just chill the hell out, right? So if you're told that, then you're like, well, shit, fuck it, I'll stay on the couch and I'll just watch some whole bunch of Netflix shows about someone that gets their wife pregnant by their father or something, whatever the hell you said earlier today. But
Yeah,
it's just,
totally.
go ahead.
No, what I was gonna say is just that we've gotten so used to this, and this is obviously of many factors of what's causing us. Obviously, lack of movement. That's about not even that's not even that's less than 2-3 miles a day, which is not much. I mean, if you think about it. So obviously, easy ways to improve your exercise is just simply just by moving more, just by taking more steps. And that's why I think these companies that exploded over the last few years was the Fitbits, the Samsung wearables, the Apple products as well. So these things are becoming a really good eye opener for a lot of people. Just to kind of have an idea. Don't we always mentioned before, don't take it so personal where it's like this is 100% accurate. Like this is, you're just looking, okay, this is a ballpark of what I'm roughly doing. There's account for error.
And speaking of ballparks, or to give you an actual answer as to, or a better way to equate what that means. So right now, currently, I have 4,829 steps, and that's equal to 2.34 miles.
Okay.
So
we're roughly about the same. I'm at 4,800, roughly 4,900, give or take.
just adding an extra 100.
4,874. So I'm almost at 4,900.
Oh no, my thing refreshed. I'm actually at 5,000.
Oh shit! Look at that, dude! It went up to 55. It's crazy. No,
weird, right? Go ahead.
That's ridiculous. No, but back to like kind of what
Yes.
exercise is, right? It counts for walking. It counts for basic movement.
Yep.
It counts for cardio. It counts some resistance training.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to exercise, a lot of people just focus on, and this is completely okay, right? Well, I'm not going to say that there's necessarily anything negative about this because we always mention on the show something's better than nothing, and we know that the problem with a lot of people overall is that they don't move much. If you're not actively doing stuff, you're more likely going to be bored. You're obviously going to be more still, and you're probably going to seek out things to entertain you. And for some people, it's food. So if you can just increase movement, activity, and just incorporate that into your day to day, we're going to limit a lot of these other things that could potentially happen. So it's more balanced. It can be more health focused. Absolutely. Because it's not going to be about how fast can you run necessarily, how high can you jump, how much can you lift. It's going to be more just based on the way your body feels. And for most people, this has very little structure. You may decide to do a little bit of full body, you may do a little bit more of isolated movements, you may do more cardio this week. You may kind of just go based on how you feel. It's very normal. There's like not like day one workout is this, day two is this. Not everything is super planned out. You may have some structure, that, okay, for some people, which is totally fine. We knock the bro splits, but dude, if you're coming to the gym 5 to 6 days a week and you're hitting, you have your chest day, your upper or your pull day, you have your push day, you have your arm day, you have a leg day. That's cool. I mean, if all you care about is just getting in there, breaking the sweat, moving, absolutely, dude, you're going to be so much better off than the person that doesn't come in at all and doesn't walk and doesn't prioritize anything. But just understand, we'll get to the cons, but just understand that this for some people may not be the best thing all the time if you're trying to do something, right? And we'll kind of get into that. But what other things do you have in mind when it comes to exercise, Gabe?
So exercise, that's something that, well, one, I did this myself when I first started, and something that's totally cool for people to, when they're first going into, I guess, want to get into the gym or get into lifting or anything, just going in and just, okay, I'm gonna go in here. I guess I'll do some of this. I guess I'll do some of that. Kind of like just going in there and winging it. Totally cool. Just get some movement. Just go ahead and just see what you do. Like I have someone who just started with me for the first time. Okay, I have a pretty structured and planned out session for us. And then I say, come in here if you like to, if you're able to, come in on your off days or when we're not training together, and just come and practice. Just come and do the same movements that we've been doing before, whatever you like, whatever you feel like you need a little more help with, more reps in there. Just come and just do them. Don't think like you have to be here like 2 hours or something like that. If you want to only go for just 20 minutes, totally cool, totally fine. And this is fine. And I like to. It's fine if you use it as a stepping stone for going somewhere else or for progressing your whatever it is focus that you're trying to have, or actually get a focus. So it's fine. And I'd rather someone just come in there and just, do random shit than not, right? It's better for them. Just to, you said it's something's better than nothing. So
yeah. So I think, yeah, so definitely when it comes to exercise, like we focus, the main points here is going to be more of a balanced approach. You're going to be kind of going, maybe some days are more intense than others. You may be more energized one day and you're like, I'm going to work out a little bit harder or longer. You can still make tremendous progress. depending on the individual and depending on
Yep.
other factors, maybe you're more loose with your nutrition. You kind of just eat, quote unquote, more intuitively. You don't care about tracking. You don't care about all the specific nuances. You kind of just make some prioritize specific choices overall as a ballpark. You try to lift a little bit more each time, but you may, you know what, I don't feel like bench pressing today. I'm going to do flies, or I'm going to do push-ups instead, or something. And it doesn't matter because you're not following a specific program week in and week out. And this is going to be okay. We can still make tremendous progress.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
we see a lot of people get stuck in this forever, which at the end of the day, if that's the case, that is okay. The only con here is if you're someone that is very focused on maybe trying to get to a specific weight range, body fat range, maybe strength range, perform speed range, whatever you're trying, you eventually want to transition into training or having periods in your life where you're training. And people are going to ask, what's the difference? I mean, I would think they're in the same, right? And we're breaking them down. Obviously, they do have some similarities, of course, because it does revolve around physical activity, physical movement. But before we transition into the training, the mindset piece, right? We want to make sure we leave our listeners with a mindset part of it. I think it's safe to say that you're kind of more relaxed. You're not pressed
Yeah.
for a specific time. You're not pressed for a particular look. You're mentally just very like, let me just go in there and just feel good mentally and
Hmm.
alleviate your stress. And that's okay. And and if you miss that workout because whatever, life got busy, that something happened, you're not like stressed out about it because I'll just do it tomorrow, or I'll just do it later, or I'll do a quick exercise. I'll exercise for 30 minutes instead of an hour today instead. So you're not so rigid mentally. You're not so laser focused maybe on a particular direction. You're just kind of touching up on everything. You're having fun. You're moving around. So mentally, you're actually in a much better place for some people. This can be what we tell people, that it's the medicine. Let movement be thy medicine. I made a post a while back that I always just I don't know if I got that from somewhere, but it's something that I always just tell my clients, like, man, just move, like just take a couple minutes today and don't do anything crazy. Just move, do some mobility. This is where we focus on pain, then we focus on other things. Eat in a certain way. You're not mentally like, oh, I gotta fucking track this gram of protein and everything has to be so like perfect. And if I didn't PR today, I didn't hit like 80% of my 1 rep max for like sets of 6. You're not worried about all those
Jesus.
crazy things. Yeah, I mean, if you want to get very specific, right? You're just there, just feeling good. This is going to be therapy for you, for your body.
Yep.
You're not hyper focused.
Exactly. So just kind of like just go, and it's cool to be here. It's cool to every now and then just revisit this space. Totally fine. You're not going to get any kind of opposition from us as long as you,
Don't
to my point
complain.
earlier, use it as your well, I guess find something else to complain about. We'll use it as a transition period, using as a stepping stone, using as a okay, let me just ease off the brakes. Hello, ease off the gas, or just tap on the brakes, just a little tippy tap of the brakes, and just just I guess gather yourself ready for when you kind of are going to go back into your training.
Yes. And so to transition over to training, the differences, obviously we talked about, being more balanced with exercise, or like
Mm-hmm.
less, you're not as focused, minimal structure, all that. And training is kind of the opposite. You're laser
Oh yeah.
focused. You have a specific goal in mind. You're trying to get to a specific destination, and probably in a very specific amount of time or a ballpark time frame. You're not necessarily focusing on your health at this point 100%. In some cases, this will make you healthier, but it's not all health focused or about balance.
Can you imagine if back when you were going to get on stage, you had the prior mindset of just exercising?
Mhm.
Nothing good would you would not have able to reach what you did reach.
Yeah.
You would not have been able to get the look that you wanted. And that's a point where you said that training can sometimes not be health focused. And that's an example of not being health focused,
Yep.
because we know that, or we've said this before, those that are in that extreme, getting super low body fat, that's not healthy long
Yeah.
term. So that's just a way that you can equate the two. because training, you have a focus. So you said, okay, I need to get on stage. I have X amount of time to do so. So I need to make sure that everything is planned out, both my training, both my nutrition, my recovery, everything to the T if I want to hit this.
Yep.
And that's where that's the plan that you had. That's the intention that you had. That's the focus that you had. And you hit that because you followed all those, those set goals for yourself.
100%. And this goes for even athletes outside of cosmetics, specific athletes that are trying to hit specific levels like Cristiano Ronaldo.
I was just about to say, like your boy.
Like, he's for what we would consider like in great shape, but what he has to do to get to that level, probably, he just has the luxury of, he has the luxury of having all the fancy, expensive tools for recovery. The guy's like getting up to his late 30s and he's still performing at that level, which is not common in the soccer world. For people that don't know, soccer careers are very short. You typically,
how long would you say?
Bro, I would say depending on how old you start, you probably maybe playing pro at 16, 17. Then you probably have a nice run until maybe 30. Goalkeepers can go longer typically, but he's like 30.
That's not 37. A short time. That's a long time.
Well, if you think about
I get, sports, let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. You know why? Because I'm equating it to when you say short, what jumped into my head was like football, like American football, like the real football.
Yeah. The real football. Really? You want to go there? All right, guy.
No, so some of those, I mean, yes, you have outliers like Tom Brady, who's just still going and kicking ass.
Well, think about it. Well, his position matters.
Yes. Like quarterbacks, kickers, those that don't have as much I guess contact or physical contact as much as the others, like a running back who's every single down that he plays is crashing into people. Like they have a very, very short career. Typically they get re-signed once. They get one payday outside of their rookie contract.
And I think I gave soccer players a little bit higher of a number. I would say like late 20s, mid to late 20s, because
like around 10. So would you say like around 10 years?
Yeah, because then typically an injury will happen, especially back in the day. If you got injured, that was the end of your career. Now players can potentially get the same type of injuries, and with the technology and science we have, they can last longer. But then again, they're putting they were having players stroke out this last tournament they had, because you saw the news, right? It was like a highlight. It's because now compared to back even just a couple 2 decades ago, they're playing the amount of volume of games and time. They're traveling as well. They're playing as much as basketball players, almost, and basketball players play a lot of games as well. They're not, I don't think it's not the exact number, of course, but for a soccer player, since you're running 90 minutes straight, there's no timeouts, there's no set plays.
Crazy.
In the sense that you're continuously moving and running. On top of that, we know that running a lot just beats the shit out of your knees and your hips, depending on the person. So so typically to get back on track, training, you are going to that extreme to maintain a peak level of performance, whether that's bodybuilding, sports in all fields. And it's hard to sustain for the average person for a very long time. In most cases, most of you will never give two shits about being in that type of mindset and space for that long anyways. Maybe you get the bug of like, I want to compete, or maybe I want to, you're younger and you're playing college, and after that you kind of just stop training that way and eating that way, because it's like, well, maybe you don't stop eating like that, you just stop moving altogether, right? And you have like the retired I remember back in my day, and it's like they're just like they gain a bunch of weight, but it's very hard to sustain unless you are the anomaly that truly loves it, and it's what you identify with, which we would argue mentally it's maybe not be the best thing, because it could potentially hinder other areas of your life. But to nail down some of the other points, not always very with training, it's not focusing on health or balance. You're very goal specific in your intention for every time you step into the gym, every time you step on the field, whatever you're doing, you're very hyper aware of what you're trying to accomplish. Even when you sleep, every meal you eat, you're fueling that goal. It's very structured. Typically, you have a program you're following for 12 weeks to 6 months to a year. You're following progressions, you're following deloads, you're following percentages, you're following time. So it's a whole different beast. And it's not to scare anybody away from this. I think it's actually a very good thing for someone to experience true structure. And this is when we get clients, right? We have clients that may or may not be with us for a very long time, but let's say a client is only with you for 6 months. They're training most times, especially if they're like, I need to get ready for my wedding. I need to get
vacation
for vacation or I want to get photo shoot ready, or I want to just get to the leanest I've ever been, but I know I need some accountability. We're very specific with nutrition. We're very specific with your training program. We're not just winging workouts 80% of the time, 80 to 90% of that time. In some cases, a rare to 100%, you are dialed in. There's very little slack off room for you. So go ahead, Gabe.
I was going to say to further on the point of not scaring people from getting into this place, to the training headspace, there's levels to that. So I mentioned that in the beginning, I was exercising. When I made the transition to training, I don't think I have ever not trained since I made that switch in my head. So even now, I'm not following a particular program, but I'm very intentional when I go into the gym. I say to myself, okay, based on what I've been doing this week, based on how I've been eating, I'm going to lift this kind of way to help mitigate any type of negative effects either my training, either my recovery or my nutrition would have, or based on the amount of, I guess, non-movement that I'm doing. So, and I kind of like outlined how I typically train. So that's on whatever. You can still train, you can still have that mindset in your head by being intentional on what you do and what your training will complement your just your day to day.
Absolutely. Should we dive into the mindset piece of this? Right. We kind of touched up on it back and forth, but compared to exercise, you're not really stressing about if you went to the gym or not, or if you hit that 2-mile run to the T, or if you were faster the time before or whatever. You're kind of just practicing good discipline of just being active and countering a lot of the sedentary lifestyle you may or may not have. Now, when you're training, like you said, you get the itch to, want to compete. You want to maybe perform and do a 5K in a very short amount of time. You find a passion for running or whatever the case may be. No. But you're going to be very structured, very mentally there. So what the transition has to be here is understanding that it's not going to be based on how you feel, how you slept. If there's a little bit of a nagging here and there, obviously you don't want to go to the point where you completely hurt yourself and you can't train. But if you're just a little tight, you may just substitute real quick, but you're going to continue to keep that intensity at a certain point, because you're really trying to move the needle forward week after week. You'll have your deloads, structured deloads, because those are important. You need to kind of decompress at certain points strategically and time certain things to get you to whatever that desired goal is. And you start prioritizing. This is the difference too with an exercise I forgot to mention, is that you're not prioritizing the gym, fitness, working out as like maybe the top thing. You're maybe 3 on the list or something. With training, it goes up there very close to top 1. And maybe you start kind of other areas of your life will take a back burner, like take the back seat for a bit, like whether it may be some family time with your partner, with your social environment, friends and everything. You're going to not maybe participate in like as frequently with drinking and eating out all the time. You're going to be maybe like, maybe show up and hang out, but you're going to make sure you get back to bed in time. You're going to be really trying to make sure you're going to move that needle forward. You don't want to hinder anything. You're going to be very hyper focused.
Yeah, you say, I can only stay here till 8 o'clock because I know at 9 o'clock I want to be in bed. So that's how you're kind of like molding everything into whatever kind of space that you have for your training. Just to go back to your example, that's, I'm sure you were in this place as well. People were inviting you, hey, you want to go hang out to go here? And you're like, nah, man, I got to get my 8 hours of sleep. I got to get 9 hours sleep. I got to train at this amount at this time. I need to get another meal in. Maybe you were carrying meals with you, right? So that's something that's common. That's with someone with that intention. They have their nutrition goal that they need to hit, and they know they need to eat X amount of calories, or breaking it down, whatever. And you got to bring with you a Tupperware. Hey, I'm here to have a good time with the friends, but I have my Tupperware here. Hey, you guys got a microwave so I can just heat this up real quick.
Yep.
So and that's how you're fitting everything. You're putting all your social life or everything into your training regimen that you're following.
Absolutely. And I think that when people tell me, I always laugh when someone says like, just give me the meal plan. I'm like, you have no idea. You don't want to eat like a competitor. You don't want to eat like a model, because like a photo shoot model, the guys and girls, it's a job. It's literally a job, and you're not there yet. Eventually we can push, we can get there. We can really structure in if you're ready. There has to be you can't force someone into this. They have to fully understand what it comes with. And I explain it very thoroughly. This is what it is. Do you feel like you are ready for this? Do you actually want this, or do you think you want this? And that can be a whole other episode of like whether you say you want it, whether you really truly deep down you mean it. And because when you get tired, when you're losing sleep, when you're not feeling energized all the time, when you're in a bad mood, this is where the mental piece comes into play, because you can no longer go based on your emotions. You have to go based on you're a robot. And this will kind of affect other areas of your life. And you have to be okay with that, and have others never going to fully understand. But I mean, when I did competing, people don't know this, but it was during the holidays era close to Thanksgiving. I missed that Thanksgiving because my show was that weekend. Why they would do that, no idea. I just had to unfortunately do that show based on hurricanes that had happened that year, and it pushed back a lot of things. But I was having to go to family reunions, and apparently everyone in my family in Colombia apparently wanted to show up in the United States that year. So
of course
they're having these really good meals and all that, and I'm there like eating out of my Tupperware or having very modified. I was always like tricky too. I would bring a piece of like leaner steak versus the ribeye that they were having. I would bring like a sirloin, and I would try to participate. Luckily I can eat like that, and I'm okay. I'm not like super obsessed with food, thankfully, because I would have been screwed. They had the desserts, they had the pastries, they had all the Colombian like breads, like pan de bono, pan de queso. They had buñuelos, they had all that shit. So it's like, bro,
my mouth
like,
is starting to water.
Yeah, it's torture or something, right? And imagine you're in a extreme calorie deficit. You could tell you look like you're in a deficit. But yeah, you have to really want that goal. That's the difference between you're going to be training or you're going to be exercising. Like exercise, you can make some room for I'm going to switch my workout last minute. I don't feel like doing this. I'm going to just completely do something else. And that's okay, because it's not going to change anything. So I guess understanding the things are going to be very important for you, the listener, depending on where you're at. Now, I think that everyone should go through some type of training, even if it's for 12 weeks, 16 weeks, 6 months, even a year, depending on what you want to do. Get there, experience what it is to not be balanced, because then you can understand what true balance is. Yep. And I think this is like kind of like the out of all this, I kind of want to put it all to this point is you need to kind of see that side at one point in your life, not always and not right away, but get to a point where you do it, because that way you can see if you truly care or love what you say you or value the things that you say you value, which is flat stomach, toned muscles, separations, that lifestyle. It embarks, there's a price. If not, you see a lot of people doing it. So not saying that one is bad or the other, but understand. So I want you to go through it. I encourage everyone to either hire a coach, buy a program, or both, and really just laser focus and work, train, feel what it is to develop that discipline, because then it's going to bleed in other areas. It's going to matter. This is going to make you enjoy exercise so much more, and this lifestyle so much more, because there is a balance. There's a lifestyle aspect to this. And maybe training, it can still be considered training, but not to the degree, right? But at the end of the day, experience that side, figure out what your balance is. We talk about really individualizing things for you. What is it going to be for you? You need to go through it. My journey, Gabe's journey, your partner's journey, it doesn't matter what they did. It matters what you did. And then you
Exactly.
can say, like, do I care about being 6% body fat, or am I really more happy with 12% body fat? You know? So I don't know if you have any other points to wrap this up, Mr. Gabe.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, if you for sure highly recommend going through that process for yourself, and if you do that, then you can maybe even bring certain aspects of it to your life. Maybe okay, now I can apply this. Oh, I'd like to go here, or I'd like to make this improvement. I'd like to, I don't know, get my squat numbers up, or get my bench up, or lower my body fat. Okay, well, I remember when I was hyper focused, I did this. So this is I guess the process, or how I would fix this area, or just this area in my whatever physique, aesthetics, or production, whatever it is that you want, right? So we would want to, so you can always reference that back and just see how you can make those adjustments in your day to day. And this is just it all goes back to the difference between exercise and training, intention based. You can do
Mhm.
something just as a whatever, like let's just say take I don't know, drawing. I use it as a hobby. I just can, like, just kind of decompression, just makes you feel at ease. I'm just drawing, whatever. Or you can say, if somebody hires you, commission an art piece. Okay, I need to draw this particular thing, this piece, and now I have a focus, and I can't just draw whatever the hell I want to do. I need to
Mhm.
do this one piece. I need to do a portrait of John, so, so
Very
it's
fortunate.
you would be very fortunate, especially if he's there in front of you, so you can just paint them
I
like a
mean, like,
French
draw me
model.
one of like one of your French girls, Jack.
Exactly. So it's just intention based.
I love that movie.
Go through it, and you do right. It's okay. It was all right.
No shame in my game.
None whatsoever.
It's not easy
I
being
think that's it.
cheesy, Mr. Gabe.
Not at all. I think that's what I had for it.
Cool. Yeah, I hope the listeners were able to take some value from this, because I think this is a very good conversation to have. If you're a client, if you're just someone that's getting into this, or you're someone that's kind of winging it, and you're like, you know what? I've been winging it for too long. I just need some type of structure. And this is kind of like, it's okay to be going in and out of this training and exercise type mentality, type of, process. It's normal. It's healthy for you. We need to kind of go back and forth, and you start making adjustments. You start figuring out what the fuck matters to me when it comes to this, man. Everyone wants to be healthy, and that looks different to different people
Everybody.
in certain aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Training, understand, sum it up, you will maybe hinder some other areas. If you can kind of fuse it enough, use that type of discipline and structure and incorporate into your exercise to have some of that kind of blend in, you're going to have a beautiful balance of health, aesthetics, and then you still get to enjoy the life that you want with your loved ones.
Word.
So, with that being said, listeners, I hope you guys enjoy this week. Gabe, close us up with one of your amazing, sophisticated
Oh, very
dad jokes.
sophisticated. I should wear like a top hat and a monocle when I'm saying this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did you know that they say that milk is the fastest liquid on earth? It's because it's pasteurized before you know it.
Oh God. Whack,
Except
whack, whack.
except in France, because it's always late. So for those who don't know, milk is late in French. So there you
La
go.
tête.
Latif.
La tête.
That's where it comes
All
from.
right. Yeah. Listeners, if you guys enjoy
Good.
this information, enjoy this content, share it with someone, like, subscribe the video on YouTube. We genuinely appreciate it. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. If any, we actually got this topic specifically from a listener, so we appreciate anyone that sends us any type of things that they would like to hear on the show. We always love to cater this information to you guys. So with that being said, check us out on Instagram at The Next Level Show. Gabe's going to be back to posting, updates and stories on this. So go make sure you check it out. Follow my personal account at John Alva Fitness. Gabe is at Prime and Glory. He posts all the great memes all day long if you want to be laughing. And Mr. Mike is at Mike Nillis PT. And until the next one.